Unfiltered, no sugar added talk radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Let's jump straight in, shall we? Shall we? Jump straight in. I think we shall. The Guns of Gear text line, 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. Mazda of Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. You know, me and Sean spent an hour yesterday. And I'm gonna try to make all this, wrap this into one nice little bow for y'all. So work with me here. I'm pulling from a couple different thought processes to get to one. We spent an hour yesterday talking about the Goon Squad stuff. And I'm just going to be 100% honest. It's interesting to an extent, but it's not new stuff. It's just all rehashing old stuff. So it's like constantly ripping a Band-Aid off, so to say. And I understand you got to flesh all this out so you can get a clean start. I do. And I don't condemn the people doing the job, getting it out, all that. I understand. But if you listen to this show, you know we spent an hour yesterday talking about this. I get home, I'm doing my stuff. I'm getting ready to go to the Cordless Corner stuff last night. Huge crowd, by the way. We'll talk about it before the show's over. And somebody sends me a screenshot of, multiple people send me screenshots of a couple clowns. And I know you're not supposed to punch down. You're not supposed to care what other people think. But it just goes to show, and I want y'all to understand that the people you argue with in the comment section of social media are generally speaking just a bunch of the lowest common denominator idiots. They don't actually look at anything. They don't read past the headline. And that's it. Low information voters, as Rush Limbaugh used to refer to them. They're just low information humans. Not thought leaders at all. 100% sheep, 100% followers, not leaders. There's a lot of that around here. On both sides. We're talking about the left today, because that's what we do on this show. Generally speaking. So there's a couple guys, WLBT shares the story about the Goon Squad. This is 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Keep in mind, we had just done an hour's worth of radio about it from 8 to 9 a.m. While most of these fools are still in bed asleep, we've been up for 3 hours and already done an hour's worth of radio about the Goon Squad. And they're tagging me. Well, Clay, why ain't you said nothing about this? Why ain't you said nothing about this? You ain't gonna talk about this. This don't fit your agenda. Another guy chimes in. Oh, he just making stuff up like he always does. I'll give you $100 if you can find anything I've got out there that I just made up. That I just said, you know what? I'm about to make Jackson look bad. I'm just gonna make something up. It doesn't exist because that's not what I do. You don't have to make this crap up. Y'all keep serving us solid gold content. If you understand the music business, platinum, multi-platinum content every day. Even on a slow news day, there's at least a top 10 single, as far as popularity goes, given to me on a silver platter by Jacksonians. At least 2 or 3 times a week, there's a multi-million selling platinum album given to me every week by Jacksonians. We don't have to make stuff up over here. We don't make stuff up. Every now and then we will say, this is speculation based on what we know. But we don't make stuff up. Y'all really are that dangerous and that criminal-minded in Jackson, Mississippi. A large portion of you think that it's Grand Theft Auto 5 and you're living in a simulator with complete disregard for human life, with complete disregard for law enforcement and for doing the right thing, for accountability, responsibility, with complete disregard of consequences and repercussions for your actions. So, why are you worried about what you think I'm not talking about, or what you think I'm making up? I implore you to, at minimum, make sure that I haven't talked about it on the very Facebook page that you're complaining about me not talking about it. Or, I don't know, here's another one. Try waking up, tuning it to 103.9 FM WYAB at 7 a.m. every Monday through Friday, understanding I've already been awake 2 hours by the time I touch this microphone. And maybe you'll listen to it, and maybe you'll learn something. I'm a victim of Jackson Public Schools, too. So I understand being dumb. It's hard to overcome it, but you can. If you'll read past the headline, you, too, can overcome being a victim of Jackson Public Schools. Now let's move to Exhibit B. Clay, you're just exaggerating. You're just exaggerating. People in Jackson don't think that they're in a simulator. They know it's real life. There's nothing really violent going on over there. You just got a few bad apples. You got a rotten tree of apples. The roots are rotten. The culture is rotten. Pull it up into the parking lot here of WYAB this morning. I get a breaking news alert from WLBT. Parent turns in suspect wanted for armed Jackson carjacking. One of those two future rocket scientists, engineers, and maybe even an astronaut if he tries hard enough or finds the right DEI HR rep to give him an opportunity. His mom done turned himself in. We're talking about the guy from the viral video over the weekend. The black kid from the viral video over the weekend that just rolled up on that family out in West Jackson, just unloading a gun on them. Not saying, put your hands up, freeze, give me your car. Ruh. None of that. Rolls up, shooting the gun like he's in Grand Theft Auto, the video game. Complete disregard for human life, consequences and repercussions, anything. Kids in the back seat of the car. Grandkids. When I say kids, I mean young children. 2 adult children in the front seat of the car. A mother and another son standing outside the car. A total of 6 family members. And somehow or another, he doesn't shoot a single one of them. And I don't know if he shot the car or not. Thank goodness these fools can't shoot. Steals the car. Well, first off, future rocket scientist, engineer, and potentially an astronaut couldn't figure out how to work the push start. How do you not know how to work a push button start? You put your foot on the brake, you hit the start button. Definitely not a future rocket scientist, engineer, or astronaut. And y'all may be asking yourself, Clay, what is up with the future rocket scientist, engineer, and astronaut stuff? Well, it's because every time one of these juvenile delinquents, I mean, this is the same kid that I'm talking about here, that his picture got to going around, a video of him at a gas station or a little mini mart, was in there buying a couple of juices with no shirt on. But every time one of these juvenile delinquents get themselves killed, they never show you the picture of them pretending to be a drug dealer, or not pretending, most of them are drug dealers. They never show you that picture of him banging on the block, shooting dice, selling dope, wanting to be a thug, pictures of him with the guns, the money. Oh, they never show you those pictures. They show you the one little elementary school graduation picture. And the mama, my baby didn't do nothing. My baby didn't deserve this. He was going to be a rocket scientist and an engineer. He was going to go to space. I mean, look, I thought I was going to be an astronaut too until I realized I was stupid. I'm never going to be president, and I'm never going to be an astronaut. We can rule those two things right on off the top. I went to Jackson Public Schools. It ain't happening. I was dealt a bad hand. And if you went to JPS, so were you. You're not going to be an astronaut, probably not going to be a rocket scientist, and you're definitely not going to be president. Now, we got a good engineering school here in Mississippi at Mississippi State. You got a puncher's chance. You got a puncher's chance of being an engineer. Anyway, so that's where that comes from. Let's take a call from Derek. Hey, brother, you on there?
My brother from another mother. How you doing?
I'm a little fired up.
Listen, man. Hey, man, again, I'm not going to swear, but I'm going to teach you a sentence using the F word. Anytime somebody says you don't have the right to talk about something, just say F those F and F's. Because you grew up in Jackson, and it was your home, too. And it's my capital, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. So there's our disclaimer. You like it?
Love it. Want more of it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Hey, look, man, Jackson was your home. You grew up there. You got the right to talk about the problem. Jackson is my state's capital. I got the right to talk to about the problem. Last time I checked, the Something for Nothing crowd don't have the monopoly on solely on Jackson. All of Mississippi does. Why? Because it's our capital, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, man, continue to talk about it. Look, man, people like that, the Something for Nothing crowd, they're going to always have something negative to say. That's just like that whole situation down there. Did you see it in Lakeland, Florida, where they're mad at the police for, going upside their kid's head? Okay, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that the people that were there at the pool didn't even live in the apartment complex. And I've seen my share of that.
Hey, you know what? So I shared that video on Twitter last night or X, whatever. Anyway, and I just said this. I said that kid didn't get his butt whooped because he was swimming at a pool. That kid got his butt whooped because he resisted arrest. Those are two different things. I say it all the time. I don't care if you got pulled over for littering. The second you decide to hit that gas instead of that brake and you don't get pulled over, it doesn't matter what you did anymore. It's what you just did.
Right. And I'll repeat what I said on Kim's show yesterday afternoon. If the community is outraged, why in the HE double hockey stick don't the community get together and build their own pool? How about that?
Yep.
And you always got some jackleg, worthless black minister on there talking about the ills of the community, but yeah, you lying in your cotton picking pocket. Well, why don't you start worrying about getting a Rolls Royce or a Bentley and help your community build a pool? How about that?
But where was that same crowd when that young black kid ruthlessly beat that teacher in Florida last year, and they were begging for her to vouch for him, not to get a harsh sentence? Where were they then? They're just playing this blackness game, and that's what people are fed up with. Can't we just get back to right or wrong?
Clay, I'm fed up with the blackness game, and I'm proud of my mixed race heritage. I don't deny my black roots, but I'm sick of the color, the whole black thing. I'm tired of it. I grew up in a black community with a mixed race mother and a mixed race father. Okay, and I did just fine. You understand? Now, I may have had a little more than the other people around me did because I had a hard-working mother and father, but I made it just fine. You are not disproportionate just because of the color of your cotton-picking skin. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying that because, Clay, you know I can't say it on the radio, but you know what I do. Enough said.
Enough said. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yep. Joe Biden said it yesterday. Joe Biden said, it never fails. I got it pulled up right here, though. Not getting away from me, Joe Biden. Joe Biden said, folks, if anyone is wondering whether your vote matters, remember this. Because black Americans voted, I am president. Kamala Harris is a historic vice president, and Donald Trump is a loser. And that, my friends, is why I have personally held it against them ever since I saw Beetlejuice, the former Chicago mayor, dancing in the streets saying, we did it. We did it. Yes, y'all did. And I ain't forgot about it, and I ain't going to forget about it. We'll be right back. In Florence. So I want to clear one thing up from that last segment. I wasn't mentioning me arguing with a couple of idiots on Facebook because they triggered me or anything like that. I mean, sometimes people's stupidity does in fact trigger me, and that's, I guess at the end of the day, that is kind of what happened. But I just want you to understand, these are the people. I took Derek's call instead of finishing my thoughts, but I always appreciate Derek's calls. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine last night at the Cordless Corner event. And he said, Clay, I know the show's getting big and what you're doing is blowing up because even my mama randomly asked me the other day if I'd ever heard of you. And I just took that as such a compliment. But he says, he goes, man, are they still calling you a racist and all that? I said, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that argument with those nincompoops was fresh on my mind. Because they're tagging me in this Goon Squad stuff, assuming that I agreed with everything the Goon Squad did, and assuming I wasn't talking about it because it was white cops in Rankin County. Knowing that I have alienated friends and law enforcement friends because Sean and I have talked about it ad nauseum, and we have not taken their side on this. And it got me to thinking, and I was looking at some stuff online last night when I got home. I didn't get to bed till like midnight. I could be 99% lefty. 99%. But 1% just not even right wing, just not go along to get along. Not, I don't know, man. Maybe men shouldn't use women's bathroom. I don't know, man. Maybe Jackson really is dangerous because the culture's rotten, not because Tate Reeves won't bend over and give Jackson all the money they want. You know, just pick anything that the progressive left is going along with. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't burn down these black communities and blame it on racism. Anyway, just pick whatever that one is, right? That 1 out of 100. They will still call you a racist. They will still call you a bigot. They will still call you a homophobe, a transphobe, an insurrectionist. They expect 100% dedication, devotion, and you getting in line and shutting your mouth. They're going to call you all those names because you disagree on that 1%. Just like me, who disagrees with 99% of what they push or whatever their agenda is. Oh yeah, they're new until they had to come up with something with an IST on the end because they've gutted the meaning of the word racist, the usefulness. They've dulled that blade so much that when they call to complain to your manager because you're a racist now, your manager usually just says, okay, click. You've ruined the meaning of one of the brightest scarlet letters you could ever have attached to your name. Anyway, they call you Zionist now. Now you're also a Zionist. They've had to add to their palette. So, anyway, you might as well stand up and accept that they're going to call you these names. And the second Kim Wade told me this, I know I told you all this 100 times. Kim Wade told me this my first day here when he vouched for me with the station boss, Matt, to give me a chance to do my show live and to expand it to 5 days a week. He said, man, look, Clint, they're going to call you a racist. I said, gonna. Gonna. I've been done that. He said, you're going to look them straight in the eye and you're just going to say, so what? Okay, so? And it takes that tool out of their toolbox immediately. Oh, crap. He didn't shut up. I go back to it all the time. We're going to get to this Donald Trump stuff here in a minute. It's why Black America got so mad about Donald Trump. I had a video go super viral about this. They're still mad at me about it. They're mad at me because I don't know any Klans people, which is just a weird flex to be mad at me about. Because I've never met a Klansman or seen a Klansman, somehow I'm a Klansman because I've never seen one. I'm a white supremacist because I've never met a Klansman. Sorry, I don't associate with racists. I didn't know that made me a racist. Not associating with racists somehow makes me a racist. Weird flex there. But y'all can go find that video on TikTok where it's called Black Gen X. But anyway, it's why Black Gen X got so mad at white America. Because they've always used this Trump card, for a lack of a better term, whenever they can't get their way and they demand that you bow down and shut up, they say racist. And that's supposed to just be it. The conversation is supposed to end right there. And it didn't. It didn't work with Trump. And just like I said in my viral video, a lot of people I've looked at and thought maybe they got a little racism in them. Bill Clinton, George Bush, both of them, Barack Obama. A lot of folks I've looked at and thought they probably got a little racism in them. But not Donald Trump. Nothing in his repertoire suggested he was a racist. Nothing in his repertoire suggested y'all thought he was a racist. Never heard that before. Till he came down that gold escalator and said he was running for president as a Republican. And y'all realize right then and there, oh crap, 8 years of Barack, and the best we had ready was Hillary Clinton. And you're like, we got a cape for Hillary. We got a cape for Hillary. She keeps hot sauce in her purse, for goodness sake. She told us. And she even talked like us when she told us. She's one of us. So we got to go straight for it. Tell everybody Trump's racist. That'll shut them up. That'll end Trump. We riding with Hillary. I'm with her. And people like me just looked at it and said, well, man, I'm just going off your 30 years of co-signing on Trump. For 30 years, maybe longer, you guys have been telling us Trump was good. Trump was straight. Trump wasn't a racist. You wanted to be Trump when you grew up. You wanted money. You wanted long money like Trump. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, little Nelly. So I'm just going on y'all's co-signing on him for the last 30 years. I don't know. I mean, can you tell me something racist he's done? Well, the Central Park 5, the Central Park 5 or 6 or however many of them it was. He wanted to bring back the death penalty. Well, they deserved it if they were guilty. Period. Anyway, point being, they screamed that racism crap. It didn't work with Trump, and that's what they've been so mad about ever since. And that's why the progressive black left, the progressive white left, if it wasn't for the 1960s civil rights and for Nazi Germany, they would really have nothing to talk about. It's constantly, I told one of them the other day, I told one of these white liberals, the Mississippi Free Press adjacent people, I said, can you try something that happened in my lifetime when you decide to accuse me of being something? It's one of three things. It's Klansman, it's Nazi, or it's something Jim Crow era, civil rights, Mississippi, something from that. And they always go back to those three things. There's zero accountability for anything that's happened the last 46 years I've been on this earth. People are just fed up with it. That's why this show does the numbers it does. This is called being a realist, not being a racist. I'm ready to move on from this conversation. I really am. But unfortunately, between now and mid-January, whenever Donald Trump gets sworn in, it's going to be a topic because they're going to make it a topic. Just like Joe Biden made it a topic yesterday. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Guys, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris tonight, 4 p.m. to midnight. Get down there, enjoy Rankin County's best pizza. Let me say that one more time. Rankin County's best pizza, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Try the pig, but they got so many more. I can't get past that one. I can't get past the pig to try anything else. I'm sure it's great. I have had a Canadian bacon before. That's ham. Why do they call ham Canadian bacon? I don't really care. It don't matter. I just want more of it. You can get more of it at Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, located at Fannin Mart on the Res. All fresh toppings. They only serve large pizzas, by the way. So show up with an appetite or be ready to take some home. Now, they also have other stuff. Pasta, burgers, chicken, appetizers. Try the dynamite balls. Everybody loves them. They've something really cool they've come up with. It's fresh smoked pulled pork. They don't get their pork from another barbecue restaurant. They get it from there. Fresh smoked pulled pork. Actually, a little secret here. Some of your favorite restaurants get their Boston butts smoked by Chip at Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. I know it's a strange combination, barbecue and pizza. I don't know why that's strange. I don't know why we don't have more barbecue/pizza restaurants around here. But you should. You know what else we don't have here? We need pizza by the slice. And I don't mean having to buy a buffet to get it either. Anyway. They got 9 different frozen daiquiris on tap. Oh, the dynamite balls. It's fresh smoked pulled pork wrapped around cream cheese, deep fried, drizzled with some Sweet Baby Rays, and boom. Yeah, they taste better than they sound, and that's saying something. They're great. They're open from 4 p.m. to midnight. They got 9 different frozen daiquiris on tap, 12 different specialty pizzas. You can always build your own. Available for carry-out, delivery, and, of course, dine-in with live music every Friday and Saturday night, open till midnight. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, located again right there in front of the bowling alley at Fannin Mart on the Res. I'm trying to figure out what I want to hit. Yeah, guys, look, I just want to circle back to that one more time. We had to have real conversations with people. I always go back to the guy telling me, rather famous guy around here. I don't tell his name because it wasn't in the context of a public conversation. But he said, Clay, we got to start to having some tough conversations. So I don't think we're having the kind of tough conversations he thought we should have. But we're definitely having some tough conversations. They ain't easy. Imagine being a white guy in Jackson talking about the things I have to talk about. It's a tough conversation. But I 100% believe it's true. And I 100% believe that sticking our heads in the sand for the last 30 years of somehow acting like it's our fault is a misrepresentation of the truth. If you disagree with me, give me a call, 601-879-0002. It's the Mazda Jackson phone line, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. We all shoulder some responsibility. But anything that's happened in the last 30 years is the current resident's fault. Bobby Rush, the living legend, the blues man himself. I ain't got nothing negative to say about Bobby Rush. Unfortunately, his name's about to be associated with murder, mayhem, and Democrat death culture. They renamed Ellis Avenue after Bobby Rush. From I-20 down to West Capitol Street, where I think half the murders in Jackson happened, especially there on the corner of 80 and not Ellis anymore, the corner of 80 and Bobby Rush, where the Jazz Co. sits. Now, every time something happens over there, you're going to hear Bobby Rush, murder, Bobby Rush, carjacking, Bobby Rush. I think it's great to get a street named after you. It really is. Was one of the other ones taken? I mean, what about Jane Avenue? Been a carjacking and a murder at the mini mart on Jane Avenue just since Friday. No telling how much other just regular crime. I mean, I'm guessing if you're comfortable enough to roll up in somebody's front yard, start shooting at them and carjack them, and then kill somebody at a mini mart, I'm guessing you probably sell drugs and do some other scrupulous activities on Jane Avenue as well. Sounds like a great place to live. I'd never even heard of Jane Avenue. You Google it, and one crime after another pops up. Was Jane Avenue taken? Was California Avenue taken? Northside Drive? You couldn't have renamed that little stretch of North State through Fondren after Bobby Rush? Maybe Fortification from State back to the interstate? Couldn't have named that after Bobby Rush? Couldn't have named High Street after Bobby Rush? No, I know. I've had a couple people tell me that he lives over there. That shouldn't have to be a determining factor. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know that Woodrow Wilson lived on Woodrow Wilson Boulevard. Martin Luther King didn't live on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Medgar Evers didn't live on Medgar Evers Boulevard. Let's take a phone call. Hey, you on there?
Hey, morning, Clay. This is Corinthian.
Hey, Corinthian.
Hey, just going to keep it short and sweet because I'm on the way to work, being productive. But when there's a Corinthian Sanders administration in 2025, you don't even have to worry about that. Bobby Rush won't even have to worry about that. So let's not get used to it, all the dams of distress for long. Once we get some sensible leadership in the office, we don't have to worry about the lawlessness ever having to be drummed down our throats or our ears by the news station because we ain't going to put up with it. So if these stupid people around Jackson, I say what I said, regardless what color you are, what party you are, these stupid people elect Chuck Way chalk lines, line Lumumba to be mayor again, that's their fault. And that's going to be a sign to the people, not only in the city of Jackson, not only our surrounding areas, but the state of Mississippi. We're going to hold Tate Reeves and everybody else accountable for allowing this to continue forward. If Chuck Boyd get back in office, because it's our duty, the entire state duty, to now take matters in our own hands at any means necessary if this man get back in office, including some of those city council members.
Amen. Well, if the rumors and innuendo are true, they may not get the opportunity to vote for him again. We'll see how all that shakes out.
We're going and now that we're in the redistricting or phase now, because the city is losing a lot of population over the last 10 years, and that it's ever had in the last 50, 60 years. There probably won't be enough city councilmen that we have to worry about, because I think we're alarmingly hitting that 131,000. So from about 10 years ago, we was over 70,000 people.
Yep. Don't need as many. It's probably just time to go back to a commissioner and a mayor form of government with a city manager. Corinthian, I got to go. I'm up against my break here, brother. Have a great day.
You have a great one.
Uh-huh. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, we're only 2 days away from kickoff of Pride Month. 2 days away. What y'all going to do to celebrate Pride Month? I saw that Target has cut back 90% of their Pride nonsense. I just saw a story here. If there was ever a good reason not to wait to marriage to do a little things that go bump in the night, this is from the Daily Mail, so you know it's true. A groom discovers his bride is actually a man 12 days after their wedding. First off, why are you waiting 12 days to find this out after you got married? What? Was y'all busy on wedding night? So it's kind of nonsense. I see why so many young guys stay single. They blame it on porn and all this, that, and the other. I think they're just truly concerned. Is you a girl? It's got to be a tough question to ask somebody, right? And I'm speaking in Ebonics today on purpose. Is you a girl? There's no excuse for finding out your wife ain't a girl 12 whole days after you got married. We'll be right back. 7 minutes. Man, I got so much we can hit and talk about this morning. But I do kind of like winging it a little bit. So on X, at SaveJXN is my X handle. If y'all are following, if you have an X account, or if you've been living under a rock, formerly known as Twitter, just at SaveJXN. I found a meme that I liked a lot. It shows, we'll just call it the Hoover Dam. Shows something that resembles the Hoover Dam. And below that dam is any random city in America or the internet, depending on how you decipher this meme. And behind that dam is a massive, massive lake. And that lake is represented as a rainbow flag in this meme. And the dam has printed on it May 31st. That's tomorrow. It's holding back the flood of pride nonsense that's going to wash us all away for the next 30 days in June. Or however many days are in June. Let's see here. 30 days. Yep. Got it right this time. You ever realize there's only 30 days in a month and be like, I thought February was the only month that wasn't 31 days. Anyway, the next 30 days, starting Saturday, Pride Month begins. So I post this meme, and it quote, "The rainbow supremacists are coming. The rainbow supremacists are coming." And this group from here in Mississippi, it's these fake conservatives. They kind of call themselves MSGS from MSGOP. And it says decoded messages from conservatives. Is the name of it. So they share my post. And they say Clay got mad when they started allowing women in bars too. So somehow, us not wanting to party all Pride Month with y'all and to have rainbows and butterflies shoved down our throats and our children's for 30 months, 30 days, if it might as well be 30 months. For us not wanting to see this lifestyle glorified for 30 straight days. I mean, let's be honest. It's 365 days a year this stuff gets shoved in our faces. None of this can be by accident either, by the way. These algorithms are destroying America. But I don't care what your disdain is for. That's what you're going to see the most of. All they show black people is white cops beating black people. It's the same 3 or 4 incidents over and over and over. Or they're constantly shoving images of 1960s Jim Crow era South when the white liberals were actually in control down here. Constantly shoving that down everybody's throats to make them angry all the time. Then in our news feeds, they show us constant streams of black people committing crimes or burning their cities down, figuratively and literally. And then they shove this rainbow supremacy agenda on all of us in our news feeds. And it creates this toxic atmosphere because they know what they're doing. They're driving rage traffic to their sites. They engage you. They keep you on their site because they know you're going to run to those comments and you're going to argue about it. And because they're just attacking the fabric of your being, the pillars of your morality. And they do that to both sides. They do that to all of us. And I just picked 3 things: race, gay, and what was the third one about? Race, gay, whatever. They shove that on us constantly. And I'm sure if you're pro-Palestine, they're putting something Zionist in front of you. If you're Jewish, they're putting something anti-Semitic in front of you. But it works. It works like a charm, to my point here. So because I don't want to be washed away when the dam breaks and we get flooded with the rainbow for the whole upcoming month, somehow that means I also am against women's rights. I'm just going to tell you something. This whole, and if you listen to the show enough, you know, I always throw this disclaimer out there. Regular gay people, I'm not talking to y'all. Because something tells me most of this ain't really gay people doing this. This is people who have hitched their wagon to your horse. This just reeks of white liberalism, virtue signaling. These are the same people who keep stuff stirred up between conservatives and blacks. But somehow, because I don't want to be washed away with that nonsense, the best these people can come up with is, yeah, Clay doesn't like women in bars. Either, no, I'm not gay. I love women in bars. It would suit me fine if no other guys were allowed in bars. I just say the stupidest stuff. Let's go to the Guns and Gear text line. I see my phone lighting up over here. Sharon says, you can't argue with idiots and you can't fix stupid. Man, say that louder for the people in the back. Lost Sheep says, did you see the winner of The Voice? Black transgender gay man, looks like a woman with a beard. Just knew she was going to win with Pride Month coming up. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave for that shim to get up there and win The Voice. John says, well, when are we getting our Pride Month? Never. All right, so I'm glad Unknown Texture just sent this to me. I'm really appreciative of this. So I rarely sit down and actually watch the local news. You don't have to watch it. You can go to their websites. They put it all up there in segments so you don't have to watch their commercials. But I happened to stumble upon the news yesterday, and JPS just received a $9.5 million grant for new electric school buses. And they were doing a speech at a JPS school. I got the video. I got 9 seconds before I can click on this video. And somebody from the Biden administration comes down. And of course, they immediately make it about race. Now, these are the same people who get mad at me when I put the race of crime suspects or victims, if they're not black, in my post. Now, I only do that to aggravate them and to show them how annoying it is when they do it. Yet they still do it. Again, you're only allowed to mention minorities when you're talking in the context of them doing something good, accomplishing something, winning something, getting a promotion, becoming the first ... ever, or somebody white did something bad to them. You can never mention that they did something bad to each other or to somebody else. You're not allowed to do that. Breaking rules when necessary. I mean, I just feel like I'm trying to like break a wild horse, and I'm trying to break us back to common sense. I'm breaking a buck. Is that what it's called? I'm not a cowboy. Anyway, the Biden rep makes the electric school buses about race. Here's a story from WLBT.
Electric school buses operating at Jackson Public Schools by the end of next school year.
It's part of a nationwide grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
3 News Times' Nathan Lee shows you what the buses look like.
It's our moral obligation to ensure that all of our children have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink, and an opportunity to live a healthy life.
Many state and city leaders joined Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Reagan at Kirksey Middle School Wednesday. The event was an announcement of EPA awarding $9.5 million to Jackson Public Schools to buy 25 new electric buses and fund supporting infrastructure. The grant is a part of EPA's Clean School Bus program, which has allocated funds to school districts nationwide to obtain these electric and low-emission school buses.
We all know that traditional school buses
This is where they make it about race.
Rely on engines that emit toxic pollutants in the air, putting the health and well-being of every single student in jeopardy. Every bus driver, every resident, every teacher that has that bus duty. The surrounding community is at risk, but it doesn't have to be.
The EPA also announced they nearly have $900 million to continue replacing diesel-fueled school buses across the country. Congressman Benny Thompson was at the forefront in bringing this program to Mississippi. He and Mayor Shoke Antar Lumumba both say they're not done finding new ways to keep improving the way of life throughout the state.
You can't tell me about the budget when it comes to investing in young folk. We can figure it out. If we can send people to the moon and bring them back, we can figure out how we can finance education for our children.
This directly affects our children and directly affects their quality of life and is a restoration of dignity to them and their parents. Thank you very much.
Nathan Lee.
Dang it, they clipped it out. My apologies. I did not watch the whole clip here on the internet before I played it. The original guy that was talking from the EPA, Regan, made it specifically clear that these buses was for black and brown students, disenfranchised black and brown students. Well, what about the white students? Are they allowed to ride the bus? Are they allowed to ride the bus? Or do they have to stay on the old buses? This is the stuff we talk about. When they give something, well, they ain't giving this crap to anybody. Y'all pay for it for the sake of arguing. When they give this stuff to people, let's just say they go to Brandon, 35% black. Do they go to Brandon and say, we got these new clean buses for our white students? No, they don't. But when they go somewhere majority black, it's automatically this pandering. And this is the Joe Biden administration. They just pander and they make everything. And I know this whole show this morning has been about race, but there's a point behind it. They make it about race constantly. And then they get mad when we bring up race. It can't be both ways. I'll quit doing it when y'all quit doing it. Just say, hey, we're worried about the environment, which I think that's a scam and a hustle anyway. I guarantee you, and I'm sure somebody can look, it's not what I do. I don't look at campaign finance stuff. But somewhere in there, that electric school bus company made a political donation to somebody that made this happen. Whether it be Benny Thompson, Chokwe, or Joe Biden, if not all three. Who gonna work on those things around here? All right, shifting gears to the actual show prep I did. That first hour and a half was just a rant, unplanned. But it's like that sometimes. It's like that sometimes. Donald Trump, I expected the verdict to come down yesterday. It hasn't come down yet. You all know that. This judge is an absolute joke. It's a sham. It's a witch hunt. It's unconstitutional. It's racist towards Donald Trump, towards me. Everything else can be racist. This is racist. This is 100% racist towards me and Donald Trump. And if you ask me, Clay, the judge is white. How can it be racist? I've been asking y'all that for the last 7 or 8 years. Y'all set the rules. I'm just playing your game. I guess Alvin Bragg's black, so yeah, it's racist. Definitely racist. 100% racisms. What do y'all think is going to happen? Guns in Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Innocent, guilty, hung jury. What do you think? Sean, our resident liberal, former prosecuting DA, assistant DA, he said if he had to bet, he goes with hung jury, followed by an acquittal, with guilty being the last thing. I wish I shared his confidence, and maybe I did before the judge set this 4-4-4 rule up. Again, unconstitutional, illegal. Nobody cares. They just want to be able to say convicted felon Donald Trump. They want to lead everything. If they get this conviction, just be prepared to understand that Donald Trump's new first name is convicted felon, because they're going to beat you upside the head with it like you're gay in June. Gay, 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 gay. Just like that's coming our way. Felon, 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 felon. I'm screaming that I'm felon and I can't get up. Now let's talk about a little left-wing hypocrisy, because that's what the left-wing party is a bunch of Democrat double-standard hypocrites, bigots, racists. The left-wing media is demanding that SCOTUS, Samuel Alito, recuse himself from the January 6 trials because his wife flew an upside-down American flag. Oh, the humanity. And then she flew a flag. I didn't even see what flag it was. Something about Christianity. I only know a couple of them. Flew a Christian flag at their house. They demand that he steps down from handling any of the January 6 trials, but complete radio silence on this crooked judge, this conflicted judge in the Donald Trump hush money case. Not a word about him needing to step down. His daughter literally works for the marketing firm for these Democrats. She's making millions of dollars for these Democrats. This is just one big fundraiser for her. Now, he's not conflicted. What? Why should he step down? He's doing the Lord's work. Well, they don't believe in God, but Baphomet's work. He's doing Baphomet's work for the Democrats. But they're worried about Alito. I mean, they got crying to Justice Roberts. Now, Roberts may do something. Yeah, we don't consider him a Republican. I mean, your rhino Republicans may. I just thought that was an interesting double standard. I'm going to just read a little, if I don't have to log in. I got a little snip here from the Washington Post on the judge on the Alito thing. I just want you to hear the rhetoric that they're spewing about this. Again, they say all this, but nothing about this sham trial in New York. Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr. on Wednesday rejected calls to recuse himself from January 6 related cases at the Supreme Court after Democrat lawmakers questioned whether he could avoid the appearance of bias following reports that an upside-down flag flew at his home in the weeks after the attacks on the U.S. Capitol in 2021. Mostly peaceful protests. They legitimately were mostly peaceful. Anyway, continuing. In a letter to Democratic leaders in the House and Senate, Alito said that the flag and a second religious-themed flag, also embraced by Jan 6 rioters. I thought they were insurrectionists. Y'all had to change the word to rioters? Weird. Anyway, by Jan 6 rioters were flown by his wife without his knowledge, and that the incidents do not meet the conditions for recusal outlined in the Supreme Court's Code of Conduct. Alito disclosed for the first time that he was not aware of the upside-down flag outside his home in the Alexandria section of Fairfax County, Virginia, until it was called to his attention, and that his wife initially resisted taking it down. Based. Judge Alito's wife is based. Quote, As soon as I saw it, I asked my wife to take it down, but for several days she refused. Alito wrote in the letter to Senators Dick Durbin. Don't say it. And Sheldon Whitehouse, who oversee the federal courts in their respective role as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee and Judicial Oversight Subcommittee. Quote, I love this right here. My wife is fond of flying flags. I am not, he added. My wife was solely responsible for having flagpoles up at our residence and our vacation home, and has flown a wide variety of flags over the years. The upside-down flag, long used as a sign of distress, especially by the U.S. military, has become a symbol of the Stop the Steal movement that falsely claims the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump. It was 100% stolen. Stop it. Anyway, and then another flag carried by Jan 6 riders, this one embraced by Christian nationalists who want to find a greater place for religion in public life, was flown outside Alito's vacation home in New Jersey last summer. There's a quote in here somewhere where he says that he can't make her do anything. She has as much rights to the house as he does. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. And what is a Christian nationalist? Like, can you just be a Christian? I mean, I'm a Christian nationalist. I mean, I love America, and I want Christianity in more places. Sold. That's a bad thing? Is that some kind of slur now? I mean, they call me a Christian nationalist like it's a bad thing. Meanwhile, they're worried about a conservative judge flying an American flag and a Christian flag at his homes. But if that was a rainbow flag, or a transgender flag, a rainbow transgender American flag, radio silence, just like they are about Judge Merchan, whatever his name is, assuming he's a he. Nothing. We'll be right back. Democrats are fleeing the ship, guys. I ran across this late last night. I listened to it 3 times. It was music to my ears. I don't know who this Democrat is. This is some California nonsense. But if they're waking up in California, they're waking up everywhere. Now, I think most of y'all are going to have some jail time you got to serve before you can fully be cleansed of your sins. This woman here in particular, because I have to ask a question after y'all listen to this. But this is Susan Talamantes walking away from the Democrat Party in California after 12 years. And what she says is shocking, and it involves children. Listen up. Turn your radio up right now.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I'd like to say...
this is a woman speaking, too. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it's a California woman.
As a progressive, proud member of this body for the last 12 years, I'm done. I'm done with us protecting people who would buy and abuse our children. I'm done. I don't want to send more black and brown men to prison. I don't want more people in prison, but I don't want people buying girls. I don't want people buying little girls anymore. And I'm tired of saying it's okay and that we have to protect the men who do it. As a mental health professional and as a social worker, I can tell you I've spent my entire career working with people who have been wounded. I'm not going to say beyond repair, but they have been wounded to their core by the abuse that's been heaped on them, oftentimes by those that they love and look to protect them. And if their parents won't do it, then by God, we should. Again, I am not arguing that we open the gates to flood our prisons with people. But I am arguing that we have a moral responsibility to say enough. Enough. We have given away enough on this area, and we've got to move back into the center, or we all look like fools and laughing stocks. And what do we stand for? I asked all of you to watch the documentary that Senator Grove was in, Senator from Kern County was just in, that talked about this very place in Sacramento where girls are being bought and sold. Men are being given a little slap in the hand or a couple days, and then they're back out again, and they do the same thing. They get caught over and over and over again, and somehow that's okay. It's not okay. It is not okay anymore. And no more am I watching. Like I said, I'm leaving, but the rest of you who are going to be here for a while, let's get our stuff together and really start focusing on some of the important things. We talk about learning and we talk about being safe. This is like at the core of it. And a lot of these kids can be throwaway kids. They're poor kids. They're kids of color. But they shouldn't have to live a life determined by what happens to them by others at a very young age and by have the Democratic Party of California say it's okay. It's not okay. And I'm not doing it anymore, and I hope none of you do too. We have to be able to draw a line, and for me, I'm drawing a line. I urge your aye vote.
This is a bill, SB 1414. It's crimes solicitation. The crime is solicitation of a minor. Guys, she has to be prosecuted for the last 12 years of what she's done. And what does she know? What did she just admit? That the California Democrat Party, which runs California, did she just admit that they're complicit with human trafficking, with child prostitution? She did. She just confessed that right there on the floor in Sacramento at the California Capitol. What we've been telling y'all is true. Democrats support pedophilia and are human trafficking scumbags and racist. We'll be right back. Land the plane for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show. You can go find that on my X platform at SaveJXN. I'm reposting it now, so it'll be at the top of the page. We'll be right back. Farm order in here in the next couple of hours. They'll be up here tomorrow delivering grass-fed, grass-finished, mRNA-free, antibiotic-free, steroid-free, Mississippi-raised beef to Central Mississippi. They'll be making 3 stops, Florence, Ridgeland, and Brandon. Go to StoningtonFarm.com. StoningtonFarm.com today. It's Stonington with 2 N's. You may have to Google it if you can't remember the spelling, but it's simple. Easy breezy. So check them out. Get your grass-fed beef tomorrow. They're about sold out of ground beef, so and it may already be. But get your order in. Try some of that broth as well. Bone broth, phenomenal. Man, I appreciate all the texts. Overwhelming majority of them say that you guys all think it's going to be a hung jury. I do hope you're correct. We'll close out with Ty's text here on the Guns and Gear text line. He says, hung jury for sure. They can't get Trump, man. Trump's going to cleanse the land of this leftist slime within 90 days after he's reinstated, mark my words. And leftists will claim he's targeting them and try playing victim, but we just have to ignore it, make fun of them for it. No more compassion for these loser speds. Amen. Hey, fun show today. First hour was very serious. Be praying for Trump today. I'll be going live. If a verdict comes in, follow me on social media at SaveJXN. I'll be back here tomorrow. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll have Sean Yerkron with us. Stay safe. Peace.